Okay, now this is you.
Yeah.
And where's this at?
You know, I don't know where that is.
Isn't that in the apartment on
Oh, that's Rancho Mission.
Rancho Mission?
Yeah.
That's Rancho Mission. This is a condo, right?
Yeah.
It was an apartment at first,
Yeah.
and we lived there. Did we live there when it was an apartment?
No, we bought it as a condominium.
Bought it as a condominium. It was an apartment complex. They turned into a condominium complex, and we bought the condo as one of our investments.
Yeah.
A 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like out the window or something. And here you are. You're laying in the van.
In the van.
At that complex.
Yeah.
Rancho Mission Villa in San Diego, California.
Yeah.
And that's our yellow camper that we had. So this must have been taken about 1979 also.
Yeah. Yeah.
About 1979. That's the kitchen to Rancho Mission. It's a 2-bedroom condo. We bought houses and we bought condos. But
yeah.
we had how many condos? Did we have just this one for a condo?
I think just that one.
Just that one, and the others were all houses that we invested into. But we did okay on this one too.
Yeah, we did.
Because when we bought it, it was they were selling out the complex, so they made pretty good deals. There's my office with a bicycle and everything in it. I was running real estate out of that office right there, selling real estate. And then this is the other bedroom?
Yeah, the master bedroom.
Master bedroom, right. Boy, that's so long ago, I've almost forgotten. And that must have been your desk then.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a king-size bed and a couch that we had in the bathroom here. And I'm taking these pictures with my 8mm camera. Had a zoom lens and everything. That's the walk-in closet. Then I had all these little short clips. Remember that? The little short 8mm things, which were each about 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I had a whole box of them. And then I had to splice all these together. And I hung on to all those little splices for how many years? 20-some years before I eventually got together to put them together one day.
Yeah.
In Asheville.
Yeah.
Put them together in Asheville. And then I took it to a guy that could convert the 8mm reel into a VHS tape.
Yeah.
And this is what our living room looked like.
Yeah.
And it looked out into the big long green, whatever you'd call that, the landscaping and everything.
Lawn.
Lawn, yeah. Right there's the lawn. Really nice, pretty landscaping. Then well, to a pool.
Yeah, that's Mission Ridge.
This is an apartment actually, just up the road.
Yeah.
About a block or so away, a couple blocks away. And we rented this one.
Yeah.
And then this is, an apartment that we rented, but actually this was a condo that somebody owned.
Right.
We rented it from him.
Yeah.
And I wound up selling him something.
I don't remember that.
Something else.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think I sold him a house.
Yeah.
This guy.
Be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is a really nice complex too.
Yeah.
And this was a 1-bedroom that we rented this condo.
Yeah.
And and that's a jacuzzi. And obviously I got it on a tripod now, my 8mm camera. And I'm testing out the zoom lens on it. And working pretty good.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing now is I'm running this VHS tape on the tape recorder on a thin screen television. I got my Sony camera taking a picture of the television.
Yeah.
And to convert it into digital MPEG.
Yeah.
So that it can be read into the future now. So I'm just re-recording it on my digital camera in an MPEG, and then it can be played on Windows Windows Media Player or the Apple Player or one of those. And we used to go swimming in that pool all the time. And that was a fun pool to go swimming on. And that was a community building back there. But we went out and swam in that pool and played in that jacuzzi often. This is taken, I think, right out of our balcony of our apartment that we rented right there. We were there for a couple of years, or
About 5 years.
5 years. Wow. And a pretty nice little complex. I used to walk around these different complexes. We knew about this complex because I used to do my evening walks, and we checked out these different apartment or condo complexes in the area, and we knew this one was a good one. So
Yeah.
later on, we rented from this guy. And 'cause we knew it was a really nice complex right there. And they had those, looks like those things on the roof for hot water heaters or something right there.
Yeah, it looks like sun panels,
Yeah,
solar panels.
solar panels.
Oh.
And this is you, really, at some
Lake Gaby.
Lake Gaby.
I think we moved back to Lake Gaby.
Right. And this is the first house we bought, I think, in San Diego when we came to San Diego.
Yeah. And then we moved back in
Uh-huh.
to try to sell it,
Right.
like in 1980s or
Mhm.
79 or 80 or something.
Right. And it's 8454. Oh, right there it is. 8840 Lake Gaby. There we go. That's the address.
Yeah.
8840 Lake Gaby. And a sign says for sale by owner. So I'm having you go in and out and take a picture. And that's the house. And then this is the street.
Yeah.
And this is near the corner. And there's our van right there. There's a yellow van parked across the street.
Yeah.
And these are the houses of the area, the neighborhood. And it's near the corner of Lake Gaby and Navajo and Lake Murray.
Yeah, Lake Murray. Yeah.
Lake Murray is a main street, and Navajo was a main street. In San Diego, this had a San Diego address. And, oh, this is another property.
No, this wasn't Lake Gaby. It
No.
was Park Brook.
Park Brook.
Not Park Brook, but the other road.
Right. Oh, boy. In Spring Valley.
Yeah.
We own that property, too, 8845. So 8840 was, oh,
The
boy.
one across the street.
We own both those houses.
Yeah, with Kirsty.
Right.
Yeah.
And for investments.
Yeah, it wasn't Lake Gaby.
No,
Take
wasn't
that
like
back.
take that back. 8840. Oh boy, whatever. It's not Park. Was it Park Brook?
I
Park?
don't think it was Park Brook. It was
No.
something else.
Something else, right? It was.
Del something.
Yeah, Del something. That's right. We had another house nearby, a few blocks away,
Yeah.
that we owned as an investment. I did a really good deal on that one. 910 Park Brook.
Yeah.
One of my first things I got from another.
Yeah.
From what's his name, the realtor,
Art.
Art
Marcone.
Marcone, and he led me onto this one at 910. He says a guy wants to get out of town. He just wants to get rid of it. Just give him a couple thousand. You can have the house, and I did, and he did, and we were happy and fixed up the house and made a fair amount of money on it.
Yeah, this was the one we owned with Kirsty.
With Kirsty, partner.
Two of them we owned with her.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they were on the same street, and they were like across from each other.
They were across from each other.
But I forgot the name of the street, but I
know.
remember painting this one up on the inside.
Mm-hmm. 8840 and 8845. We bought those two houses and another one. I think we bought a third house even.
I think so too, and we rented them out. We rented this one out to a guy from Texas that
Right.
turned out to be not so good tenant, and then the one across the street we rented out to Mexicans.
Right, exactly.
And they always paid.
Right. Now this is a house on Drew Lane.
Yep.
Drew Lane, and this is the condition that was in when I bought it. And it was a veteran guy
Yep.
and his girlfriend.
Yep.
And they bought this house, and within months after they bought the house, they split up.
Yeah.
And I just stumbled across it by handing out flyers or something in the neighborhood. Just the condition it was in. It was a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
And so she says, here, you can buy the house, give us $1,000 cash and take over the loan.
Yeah.
Something like that.
3,000.
$3,000, right?
Yeah.
$3,000 cash, take over the loan. It was a VA, assumable loan.
Yeah.
No qualifying, nothing, just take over the loan.
Yeah.
So I did, and they took their $3,000 and ran. And she says, here's some keys. Before I even gave her the money, she says, here's the keys to the property.
Right.
We don't want the property.
And then we fixed it up and we rented it out for a while.
Right,
And then we decided to sell it.
right. Then we decided to sell it. And we made some money on this one too.
Yeah, we did, but it was was hard to sell because just then the interest rates went up really high.
Yes, they did.
But we had an assumable 7% loan. But,
Right.
But when Jimmy Carter became president, then all of a sudden interest rates went like sky high.
Right.
And so it took us a while to sell it.
Right.
But we did sell it.
We did sell it, and what helped was because it had that 7% assumable loan on it,
Yeah.
and somebody could just pay us so much cash down and buy us out and take over the loan.
Right.
And the house was in horrible shape. This is what I'm showing, all these just different things, mold and different things to fix up, and trash all over the property, just all different kinds of trash.
And when we held open houses, then Doug worked the clients that showed up at this house. He went and sold them other things.
Right. Went and sold them other properties.
Like in Chula Vista.
Yeah, that's right.
And you actually made a few sales.
Yeah.
Pretty good sales.
Off this property,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
clients that I dug up,
Yeah.
and go sell them other property. So not only did we make money on this property, we made money. Look, that's the amount of trash that was at this property. Is that a tremendous amount of trash?
Was that when we bought it or when the tenants moved out?
No, that's when we bought it.
Okay, I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
that's what was. That was what was in that house. Was that amount of trash right there?
A lot of trash.
A lot of trash. I think I eventually had to get a one of those big industrial dumpsters.
Yeah.
And had to throw all this trash into that dumpster because there was so much stuff, and then the stuff had overgrown the big leaves, banana leaves things, and
Yeah.
trim them up. So I think I had to get an industrial dumpster to throw all this trash in there.
Yeah.
We had to clean all this up, but that was a good deal to pick it up for just $3,000 cash.
Yeah.
And that's the condition of the inside of it, what it was like.
I think the other properties in Spring Valley was, I think, Del Rose. Was that
Yeah.
sound familiar?
Uh-huh.
Del Rose?
Del Rose or Del Rio?
No, Del Rio was that other
Another
one.
house, right. Del Rose. Del Rose sounds right,
Does
yeah.
that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one, but this was a fixer-upper, but that was the name of the game in California. You got fixer-uppers,
Yeah.
and you fixed them up, and then when they're in good condition, you'd sell them. Now, eventually I sold this to somebody that lived nearby,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I took flyers. I would take like 500 flyers and drop them off at every house, every apartment building, every apartment anywhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I would just walk and do that for days and days and days on end. And I was somebody that I believe was living in a rental house or something nearby.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they go, well, yeah, we like the neighborhood. Let's come over and take a look at your house. So we would hold open houses there
Yeah.
on the weekends. And they go, we like your house. And they eventually bought the house.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
There was a guy, maybe even on the same street. I don't remember.
Yeah. So
Close
nearby,
by.
yeah. And so that's one way to sell a property, is just hand out flyers in the neighborhood, and maybe a potential buyer is right there.
I remember that mural thing,
Yeah.
or wallpaper on that in the bedroom there.
Right.
I remember that.
Yeah. I know the carpeting was not in that good a shape. I don't know if we cleaned it up or if we had to put in new.
I don't think we put in new back then. I think
Okay.
we just cleaned
Cleaned
it
it
up
up
because
and-
we rented it out for a while.
We did. We rented it out. Yeah.
And then those tenants were not good tenants
No,
either. We had
right.
to go to court with them.
Get them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't like being landlords.
No, we've given up on that. No, it's now fun to be landlords. I mean, we did make money, but I wouldn't do it again. Oh, look at the condition of that shower. It's terrible.
Yuck.
Man, we would never do that now, but we did in those days.
Yeah.
We were young enough and didn't know any better, so we just went ahead and jumped in on these fixer-uppers. We weren't afraid. Just go fix them up, you know?
We had sold our house in Michigan, so we got like $30,000. So we
Right.
got there, then we went to buy properties.
Right.
And also we worked, I think, full time, both of us.
Right.
And so we did a lot of things.
We did a lot of things. And we bought these various investment properties, this fixer-uppers, and look at the condition, look at the trash here, unbelievable. Like they say, flip this house. Well, we flipped these houses back in the 80s already. We're flipping houses, you know?
Yeah, I think, 80s, late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah. Now, this is another property that I bought.
Auburn,
Auburn.
Mrs. Nepo.
Nepo, Mrs. Nepo. Was that Mrs.? Yeah, Mrs. Nepo was the old lady that lived in the house. And this was a house that I The owner lived out in Grants, New Mexico,
Yeah.
and shared that garage down there. There was a common garage down there,
Yeah.
and partitioned down through the middle. And this house was on the left, and the one I bought, and the other guy owned the other garage. And then this was an empty lot. Eventually, an apartment building was built there. I never did see that apartment building that was built there.
But remember we rented this out to a black guy too? So
yeah.
that must have been after Mrs. Nepo died, or didn't she die or something?
She died, yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
died.
she was so old, and then she just died. She got
Yeah.
so frail.
Yeah.
And but this was a fixer-upper house also. But we bought it for $25,000.
Yeah.
$5,000 down.
Yeah.
And the guy carried the paper of 20,000
Yeah.
over 20 years or something.
Probably 20, yeah.
20 years, and on an 8% assumable loan. He did not want to get paid off. He just wanted the 8%.
Yeah.
He figured 8% was good.
Yeah.
I said, okay, good, and we'll make it an assumable loan. And so I bought this for $25,000, and how I found this property was I sent out a whole bunch of little notes. Would you be interested in selling your property at?
Yeah.
And sent it to all these out-of-town owners. And send out hundreds of these letters, hundreds of them, all handwritten letters.
Yeah.
And then different people would call up and say, you sent me a letter, what's this all about? And one thing would lead to another. Pretty soon I'd wind up with the property, and this is a property that I wound up with.
Yeah.
Now I eventually sold this property for $50-some thousand.
Yeah.
Remember?
I think so. I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds
And
like.
then it had this funny wood on it.
Yeah. And everything was yellow because of the smoke. She
Yeah.
smoked like a
Chimney.
fiend.
She smoked like you wouldn't believe.
She was an alcoholic and she was a shopaholic.
A shopaholic, alcoholic. She was very frail, real thin, didn't eat right. She spent all her money on alcohol and smoking, and the inside of the house smelled like, oh, it was gross. This must have been the roof on the back or something. I don't know what that was. No, that's a garage.
Garage.
That's that garage. Really poor construction. Everything was poor construction here. Cheap old garage. But the garage was used for storage, not for a vehicle.
Right.
Just used for storage of stuff and junk and so forth. This is the back of the house underneath. Now this is another property.
35th Street.
35th Street that we
remember.
bought.
Remember the tree we had it all trimmed up?
Yeah. Now each time that white car is here, so maybe
Well,
we own that white car.
No, that was the helper, Scott.
Oh, the house, Scott. Okay, and there's our yellow van.
Yeah.
And that driveway, we shared the driveway with somebody else, which was not a smart idea, but that's the way it turned out.
Yeah.
And then we bought that property as an investment, and that tree, those fronds were, then there was a garage in back there. And it went to the alley,
Yeah.
that garage, and we're going to walk right back there right now. And that garage, I converted that garage into another unit.
Yeah.
Now, legal or illegal, I don't know about that issue, but we converted it into another unit.
Yeah.
And it was a garage, but when I got through with it, it no longer wasn't a garage, it was a little house back there.
Yeah, a little studio.
Little studio. Converted it into a studio. The garage actually leaned to one side and everything. I had to prop up the garage to make it level because it had rotted away so bad it was leaning. The whole garage was leaning.
Yeah.
Propped it up and put a bunch of cement in there. And made a new floor in there because the floor had all broken up and everything too.
Yeah.
It was really a tear down building, but I didn't tear it down. I propped it up, made it straight, put a floor in there, put doors. Where that door is where it leads into a bathroom and a kitchen right there. Right
Yeah,
there. Oh,
yeah.
it's showing it. Okay, yeah, good. Right there, yeah. That goes into,
I think that was the kitchen.
that was the kitchen. Just a little kitchenette is all it was.
Yeah.
And this is the studio right here, see?
Yeah.
And poured that cement in there after I propped the thing back up, and then we laid carpet on the cement. And then this is the house itself.
Yeah.
50-year-old, at least 50 years old.
Yeah.
Old house.
Was that house or was that land? That wasn't Landis, was it?
No, I don't think so.
It was that house.
It was that house on 35th Street.
Yeah.
And this was the kitchen going in there. It's just not enough light, hardly to capture it, but it's just an old, whoops. Now let's see. And there, and it had that tree, those fronds really, where that ball is, were hanging way down practically to the road.
Yeah.
And then I had somebody go up there and just clean up that ball. Cost, I don't know, $500 or something, you know.
Yeah.
To trim all those fronds off that thing.